Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Spoiler Kings. I'm Brian the Grizzly here with Brandman Brandon. We don't know what's going on. If Tank's going to be jumping on, but I know that today was his first day at work, so he's
Mhm.
probably exhausted, most likely.
Yeah, you usually like that when you're back in the saddle, especially after that much time.
100%. 6 weeks off is tough.
6. Yeah.
Uh, Before yesterday, we were having a conversation, and the Bafta Awards kind of came up and talked about all the stuff that was going on. Um, I really wanted to have a chance to be able to talk about what actually happened.
Sure.
What is the crux of the controversy? How does it make you feel? Things like that. I want to be more of an interactive with you guys, talking about how you guys feel about it, and tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought Brandon really he wanted to talk about it yesterday too. So I mean, it's one of those things. I felt like this is something that we could do, kind of separately than our from our regular show.
Mhm.
So, how you feel about
Absolutely. About the situation overall in the incident. Well, part of me is inclined to give John Davidson the benefit of the doubt. Like I read up a little bit on him, and I know that he suffers from Tourette's syndrome. He's an advocate of Tourette's syndrome. There's even documentaries and news stories on him, like dating back to the late '80s when
it?
he was a teenager. So I'm inclined to throw him a little bit of a bone, and I still am. But I think on one hand, kind of where he himself went wrong was the apology that he issued. It didn't really seem. Did you read the apology or hear? Or
Hmm.
it didn't really seem like an apology so much as it seemed like a crutch. He was kind of using his disability as a get out of jail free card. And even though he may not have meant to blurt that, he I think I that doesn't negate the severity and the impact of what was said, and that needed to be addressed, and I feel like he needed to address that. He didn't even mention Michael B. Jordan or Delroy Lindo by name
Hmm.
in the apology. It
Hmm.
seemed like A, he was using it as more of a crutch, a get out of jail free card, and B, he used it felt like he used the opportunity to plug his movie that's out. That was also, I believe, a topic at the BAFTA Awards, and that kind of cheapened thing. Not even kind of, it definitely cheapened things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
100%. Yeah, because you're not really acknowledging someone's pain or the torture, or with the power of the word that you used and what it represents overall, in the
exactly.
world.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing more harmful or callous to me than when people say, "Oh, get over it. It's just a word." No,
Mm.
the word has decades upon decades upon decades of violent intent, hurtfulness, and dehumanization behind it. So that's something that kind of needed to be touched on as well
Mhm.
from John Davidson and from the BBC as well. Um, and unfortunately, there's this stigma that black folks, no matter what, just always have to take it on the chin, and and they get like a pat on the head when they're subjected to the most dehumanizing actions out there, this one being one of them, and then they're expected to accommodate the person responsible, or maintain their composure. So I think that's one of the most ultimate insults as well. And shame on the BBC as well. We're talking about them having a 2-hour delay. They easily could have gotten rid of that if they wanted to. They had ample enough time. They cut out a free Palestine comment
Mhm.
later in the night. But this was too tall an order. What's up with that? You know, it's just messy all around. And but I think the fact that John Davidson's feelings and condition are centralized while completely sweeping the impact this probably had on Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo completely under the rug. That's going unnoticed. I think.
What about us?
What about
What about the people that are watching it and had to deal with it too?
Yeah.
The feelings that comes in, the 400 years of persecution and stuff that kind of goes with, and the idea of chattel slavery and all that stuff of what it means.
Yeah, the dude who blurted it, disability or not, the dude who said the remark is being coddled,
Mm-hmm.
and then no one says a thing about the two guys who were on the receiving end. That it's like we're just brushing that under the rug when it should be anything but.
Yes. That's powerful. Before I get into what I think about a lot of this stuff, my opening thing, I want to see what you guys are saying first. What up, Ace?
Ace
in the building.
What's up, buddy?
And we got Lawrence in the building. I don't want to miss out because I saw you say, "Yo, what's up, Lawrence?" He said, Ace says, because I do feel the way about this, but at the same time, I'm like, do we really make this bigger than it needs to be? Then again, how big does it need to be? That's a question. Okay. Like to say, hey, Spoiler Kings, Brian, do you like the stuff I sent you on Instagram and made the videos and made fun of Trump? Yeah, I did see. Come on. Anyone that deal with idiots. Yeah, I think what you think of my cat? Actually, his kitten is really cute. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably like, ugh. I looked up yesterday what happened to Bafta. That's messed up. The guy should have been escorted out of the building for saying that.
And you know what, Collector, it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because if memory serves me correctly, in his I'm calling it a statement. I can't really.
It's more of a statement than his apology. Yes.
Yeah. I think he even mentioned that he had said a couple things beforehand and should have left. I'm like, here I sit reading it, and I'm like, oh, so you acknowledge you were saying some stuff that shouldn't have been heard during an award show, and you should have left beforehand before it got even worse, which it did. And I'm thinking to myself, then why didn't you?
I mean, you have a team around you, so some things come up afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So the Denker says, yes, finally found you. I'll stream it again. Been waiting. Do you still read comments? Because I still have some brain teasers. Oh, we always read the comments, man.
Oh, yeah.
He says, see, I felt it wasn't that good of an apology, and I agree. He was leaning way too much on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. He could have at least said their names. Yeah. I hope this guy's now allowed back at the Oscars. He shouldn't be allowed now. I don't care if his movies are nominated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I read that he and his team have reached out to them personally. Okay.
Okay. Right. Thanks for educating us on that. I didn't know that, so thanks.
What up, Bobby? Bobby said, hey, hello, everyone. I hope they did reach out to them personally, and that's why what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like to know how many other times he blurted out the word out in his life. It's going to get into a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but yeah. Mm-hmm. I do feel like this crap. I work with special needs people from ages of babies to elderly. I've worked in health care as much as for almost 30 years. I worked with 3 people who have Tourette's.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't saying that word all night, then he knew what he was doing, because that's the only use of the same word, antiques constantly, or repeats it constantly. From what I've heard and I've seen, didn't see it any other time.
Mm-hmm.
Samaha, yeah, can't say that stuff responsibly. Okay. Mm-hmm. I brought this up. I wasn't joking either. It does remind me of the episode of South Park where Cartman faked like he had Tourette's so he could say some real bad ish. Yeah? No. I hear you guys. Mm-hmm. All right. There's a couple of issues here for me. For one, Tourette's is something that you really do not have control of. And most of the stuff that they say is very bad and is not necessarily something that they know is going to happen. And the more when your tics are happening, you hold it in, the more it really is going to hurt and it's going to blur it out, and all these things going to happen. So Tourette's is a real issue, and there's not really, it's not really known if it's because you think that word or you're saying the word or anything like that. It just comes out no matter what.
Mhm.
And I do recognize that. So I wanted to recognize that Tourette's is a real issue, and it's not something you can usually control in any way, shape, or form. And I think that I wanted that to be understood. The way it was handled, first by John Davidson, I thought that he handled it poorly. As someone who's dealt with Tourette's and all this stuff all the time, you know that it is going to get progressively worse. And there's things that are happening beforehand. He should have got up and walked out.
Yep.
And because of this issue. But you also understand that having Tourette's does you have to understand that, because it's something that they can't control. They really cannot control it. I don't think it's something that is in your mind or anything like that. It's something that you literally cannot control. So all that stuff is 100% true. Okay. I really don't even want to focus on John Davidson. I don't want to talk about him anymore. That's not the focus I want to have. It's something that happened, right? Okay.
Yep.
And it was bad, and it makes everyone look bad. What I really want to talk about is the Bafta Awards. Once again, as you talked about, they had chances. They are on tape delay. Because I asked this last night. They were on tape delay. They edited out the Free Palestine stuff, right?
Yes.
Because that's very important to them. This is very important. You have to be able to edit that stuff out. But we've got so desensitized to these words, to the name calling of Black people, to the dehumanization of Black people. You've gotten so used to it that Free Palestine seems like more of a problem than saying the N-word on TV, while two Black men who just made a movie about how this stuff got started and how it was in the Jim Crow South, with all that stuff happened. These the gentlemen were in there,
right,
talking about it, talking about lynching.
Exactly.
And you think in your mind that it's less important to stop that and not air that on TV than it's for the Free Palestine.
Thank you.
That's the problem. And that is the issue with the world, because it started out as an American problem, because from the Americans' original sin. It's an American problem. And it's grown to a global issue, because that's what all people think of Black people now. That's an issue. BBC, you should be ashamed of yourself. And the way you could have handled it is immediately come up. If you either cut it out or you walk up and you say, hey guys, something that happened that we've heard out there does not represent anything that we think of. Anything that we think should ever be announced on any type of award show or any type of show at all on TV. We do not agree with this word. We also understand that this comes from a place from someone who suffers from a disability, but we don't want to, lessen the pain that this word causes. That's not that is a problem. And we apologize to both our viewers, to Michael B. Jordan, and to Delroy. We wanted to apologize to Delroy Lindo. We want to apologize to you guys, because that shouldn't be there. And to everyone in the audience and everyone watching on TV, that does not signify how we think of this. Do that, right? And then release a statement later. If you really care, literally, that's that simple. It's literally that simple to be able to solve the issue, to show that you care and that you're not dehumanizing people,
right?
But you care about the individual, but not that group of people. Why? Why do you feel that way? And that's the problem with this world.
Yep.
That question, and the answer to that question is, what's the issue? And that's the problem I have.
Absolutely. Yep. I put more of the blame on BAFTA and the BBC as well for everything that you just mentioned. Especially considering the subject matter, like you said, the subject matter of Sinners, the fact that we're still riding a pretty high wave from that movie, because it was that because it was that impactful from a narrative and subject matter standpoint. You know, how embarrassing and humiliating must it have been for
For
you
Delroy
know,
and to Michael B. Jordan to be
Del Real.
sitting there and
Yeah.
still, once again, I think you said this, right? You said that we're expected to be okay with it. We're expected to keep taking this stride. We're expected to be able to handle everything the right way. Yeah, it's okay for someone to handle it the wrong way and no one to call them out on it.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, what really twists the knife is the fact that we're getting statements, not apologies.
Fuck yeah.
You know, we're getting, you know, they're making every excuse under the sun for how excuse me, for how they handled this. You know, John Davidson is basically being infantized, you know, by everyone, coddled. You know that.
But I don't want see. I want to understand. I'm making it clear.
Mhm,
I know Tourette's and how difficult it is. You cannot mentally. They don't know exactly where the words come from. They don't know if it's something you're holding in. It's something that you say all the time, or it could be
mhm,
just something you heard and you associate with something, or it could be any of those things.
mhm,
So we don't, can't say just because he has Tourette's is this the problem. The problem is now the reaction along with it. It
mhm,
shows what the world really thinks when you deal with a controversy like this. It's something that comes up quickly. That quickly, it shows what you really believe. It shows
mhm.
how you really care, and
Yep.
that's what the issue is.
Mhm. Yep. Like I said, yep. The channel in the studio, and just the way that BAFTA handled this. Like I said, BAFTA, BBC, to me, they're the real villains in all this.
Well, that's not. See, it's funny because it's saying that, but it's also a lot of these other art
Mhm.
people that are writing articles,
Yep.
explaining in a good way, sweeping under the rug,
Mhm.
telling you don't make a big deal out of it. Not just the people, the personalities, but it's actual places, actual company, actual people writing things on Vanity Fair that are
Mhm.
saying like, trying to explain so much, give context to it instead of understanding it
Yep.
and understanding where it's coming from and being honest because no one wants to really be honest.
Mhm.
It's because it's a subhuman humanization of a person. That's what of a group of people. And they're all sitting there watching it.
Mhm.
And they're more worried about free for Palestine. That's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. What even is that?
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Lawrence says he should have been away from the mic and should have left after the earlier outburst. 100%, Lawrence. BAFTA should have handled it better. Matter of fact, didn't one of the judges step down?
I feel like I did skim something about that earlier.
The word is
Mm.
not important to the plain and simple. Mm. He says they don't care about black people, and as much as you want to say no, they care. It doesn't seem like they really do care.
No. If they did, this would have been handled completely differently.
Mm-hmm. You could have handled it the correct way immediately and wouldn't have all these problems.
Mhm.
You could have taken care of it and shown this is not what we think. But maybe it is.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Orgy says BBA deserves so much blame for not muting it. WB told people at BAFTA to edit it out, but they didn't. Yeah. But the importance.
Mhm.
It didn't start in America. Not gonna give him that. Well, I think America, I'm gonna say the United States specifically, have done more to that, that word and the idea of the chattel slavery that's started in the 1600s and that really continued, that culture continued for 400 years. So
Mhm.
I don't want to ignore that part.
Yep.
The British, Spain, French, Portugal, etc. is all at fault. Yeah, that's how you talk about the whole slave trade right there, right? So I can't argue with it. The BBC had 2 hours to edit it out, and they had policies to not post things that cause offense or harm to the audience, and they went against that. It's weird,
Super weird.
man.
Yeah, 2 hours. We had a 2-hour delay.
It wasn't like a 2-minute delay. You heard it and you still thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'll read all this stuff and I want to say something about that. Mm-hmm. What up, Bonzo?
Bonzo.
So totally agreeing with you, Brian. So I felt really bad for Michael B. Jordan and his co-star Delroy. Co-star that they shouldn't have to deal with that at a war show. It's just wrong. You shouldn't have to deal with that at all.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. We already know that they don't give a crap about us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the studio and BFA after really handled it badly, and even the guy who was hosting it, 100%. I would say Alan Cumming did a terrible job.
Yeah, because I remember his statement too, and I'm like, dude, come on.
I don't know the actor's name, but he played one of the James Bond movies and Pierce Brosnan's. Yeah.
Alan Cumming.
Alan Cumming said, I think I had his quote here. You may have noticed some strong language in the background. This can be part of how Tourette's syndrome shows up for some people as the film explores that experience. So you really use that to talk about the film instead of the people that it affected.
Yep.
Shame on you. Mm-hmm. Shame on you. He says, thank you for your understanding and helping create a respectful space for everyone. I almost said some words right there, but F you right there with that statement. Mm-hmm. All right, we got. What up, Travis?
What's going on, Travis?
Said a black judge stepped down after how it was handled. Yeah. I read that. Yeah. So not him plugging his film and exploiting black people from the black press. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 100% what's going on. Man, what's up, she? This says, and yet Trump and then Senator Al Green escort out because he sat there with a sign that said black folks ain't apes. But we always got to take the high road. Exactly. Exactly. It's crazy how they tell you you're wrong for feeling a certain type of way. What?
Yeah,
it's seriously? Oppression, right? Anytime there's oppression, how can you blame the people that are being oppressed for the oppression? But it seems to happen all the time in the United States.
Yep.
Now, I got a question for you. And I always want to know what your thoughts are on this. Mm-hmm. Why do you think Bafta did this?
Sorry. That's something that I've been wondering ever since it happened, especially after hearing that the Free Palestine thing from someone else was cut without any problems.
So yeah, okay, we're going. But what are your thoughts? Why do you think, if you can just say, and let's not say this is not taking this for gospel, why do you think possibly that they did this?
To an extent, I feel like there's some kind of I feel like there's some spitefulness behind it. I think that some of it might even be kind of bully mentality. I think that considering the impact that Sinners made, and the fact that we're still talking about it a year after the fact, and it's up for all these awards. I know this is going to sound really silly, but I feel like maybe the people behind the scenes were feeling some kind of way about it.
That's interesting you said that. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to say this. You and I didn't talk about this backstage, but I'm going to read what Jamie Foxx said. Mm-hmm. All right. Jamie Foxx said that racial slurs shouted by John Davidson during the 2026 BAFTA Film Awards was intentional, not caused by Tourette's syndrome and in viral social media comments. Fox says it's unacceptable. Nah, he meant to say that shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. I believe when you have Tourette's, I just know my dad's a psychologist. I talked to him about this, specifically, and it's not anything you cannot just pick and choose when you're going to say stuff. I don't think that's what's going on. Mm-hmm. But I do believe BAFTA could have made a choice to edit it out. They had requests from both Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan to edit it out. Mm-hmm. And they chose not to, because all publicity, bad or good, is good publicity.
It's good publicity. Yep.
I believe it. It's not a huge award show. It's
Mhm.
not known as well as everything else. And even if it's bad, they're being talked about on every social media. They're talked about in every YouTube channel. They're being talked about in all the newspapers. Everyone's writing this. Vanity Fair is writing about it. Everyone's talking about this.
Yep.
And I believe in my heart of hearts that they're using this negative part, this negative incident as publicity for themselves, because they could have chosen to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me want to say, and I wholeheartedly mean this, and it's past 10:30 at night, so I can say this: fuck you.
Yep. Go to hell.
Yeah, it's just plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, we want to read what Travis says right now. It says, as for John Davison's condition, I am willing to speculate that word was sadly associated with the history of a people, and so Tourette's caused an unfortunate word to be what it was blurted out. Okay. I mean, that has to be part of it too. I mean, his association with what was going on, and they do play word association with Tourette's, but nothing has been categorized in all the time that's what's actually going on. So yeah, I don't want to say that. The irony that Nightcrawler supporting racism.
Right?
Yeah. This is what we care about, young guys. I mean, I love comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this, the idea of what X-Men are is for the disenfranchised, for the people that don't want getting all the publicity, the people that are always pushed into the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
And to still have this, no matter what, shows how far we've not gotten, how bad America really is. You would think that what we already have as in the Oval Office right now tells you enough. How the election went tells you enough.
Mm-hmm.
Not even worry about political, just because I don't believe left or right is the problem. I think bad people are problems. Yep. Your political, if you want to go democracy, if you're Republican, whatever, I don't think that's the problem. But when you take away someone's rights or you belittle them in any way, shape, or form, that's when the issue really comes. So I don't even want to. It's political, yes, but it's not really just about the politics or what side of the aisle you sit on.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to talk about the racism and the anime community. Oh my God, anime! Oh, good Lord. Dude, there's a huge, I don't even know how we'll go with it, but you see the backlashes they have when they have different characters and they want to make a character darker.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, this idea that darker you are, the worse off you are, is not something new. This is something that's everywhere, in every culture. You want to be in Korea, you want to be in the Philippines, you want to be in Japan, you want to be in China, you want to be, you want to go to Australia, you want to go to the Netherlands, New Zealand. Where do you want to go? You want to be in France? It's not just America.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Brazil, Chile. I mean, where you want to go? Cuba. Where do you want to go? It's a real thing.
Yep.
Success doesn't protect from anti-blackness, because you want to know what blackness is? It is one of those things that you can't change your blackness. You can't scrub it off. You can't change your clothes and look not black. That's just, you can't. You're going to be black regardless. It's one of those things you can't change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all you can do is be very proud of who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Embrace it.
And then unfortunately, people like to tear you down because of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. And
which is beyond unfortunate.
Sadly, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I tell you. They're using it for a reason.
Mm.
And Trump said that to Robert De Niro that Robert De Niro has a stick up his ass and is destroying America and people. And he said the people he calling him a disgraceful mother effer. Yeah, you know why with Robert De Niro. You know what he's doing, what he's about.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just totally sick shit. Yeah. Popo is all I have to say about Dragon Ball Z. Yes. Yeah. Or if you cosplay, 100%. Man, you can't be certain characters and people get on you about cosplay. No, you're right. This is, it goes to everything that we do.
Yeah, there's no winning.
Yeah.
You know,
says One Punch Man, the only black superhero on that thing. The thing looks purple. It's sad. You gotta be purple. That's real. Travis says, I was watching Wolverine and Deadpool yesterday and couldn't help but be taken out of every time a gun went off. Recent events just kind of took the fun out of it. Maybe it's just me.
No, I think without like going too far into detail, I think the first 1 or 2 times that I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, I loved it. And then with each rewatch, I'm kind of like, with each rewatch. I'm just like, it was fine.
It's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but I think this country has issues in it, and that's something that just has to be understood. We have real issues in this country.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lauren says they self-whitening projects. Yeah, you have check lotion to make sure it doesn't have it in some places. All over, they do. You were actually in Korea, Brandon. Why don't you tell people tell me how things were in Korea? How were things there?
Well, generation-wise, there for the most part, a lot of people out there, a lot of the natives were pretty accepting, and I think the reason being is it was such an expat neck of the woods. There were always people coming and going from, English-speaking countries, other countries just as a whole. So, but the younger generations, like our age and under, were for the most part pretty accepting of everyone. It was the older generations who came across a little bit more prejudiced. I definitely picked up on that. Excuse me, early on, when I was doing something as simple as like taking the subway somewhere. But yeah, it was the older generations who were definitely a lot more prejudiced. It was really easy to pick up on.
So, and I think that's the thing I kind of want. The reason I asked you is because you were on the other side of the world.
Yep.
And it's still what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I'm going to bring Anzo in here because I wanted to hear his point of view from this. You're going to check him out tomorrow because he's going to have a whole show in the OOC about this stuff. But I just want a quick question. I wanted to hear what he had to say beforehand. Let's give you a preview, guys. If you want to hear more about what he's talking about, get on the OOC tomorrow night. So, hey, what's up, Anzo? How you feeling?
Anzo, what's
I'm
up,
good,
man?
guys. Thank you for having me. I didn't see the link. I just went on X today and I seen you ask me to come on. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, let me go pop on there. It's funny because I was just about to send it to you. You asked the question why you think BAFTA did it. And it's simply, one, I agree with Brandman, is publicity. And two, it just shows you that till this day, they don't care about what happens to Black people. They always tell us to get over it, right? And I say this all the time. When the LGB community was having their issues with the racial slurs and all that stuff, they never told them to get over it. What they did is they band together and they got laws that saying if you're any kind of homophobic or anything like that, you're gonna go to jail. You could go to jail. You get your stuff taken away from you. Whatever happens. But when it comes to us, we don't have them kind of laws, right?
None.
Why don't people get like a fine of 25K for saying the N word? They don't
Mhm.
have that, but go say the F slur pertaining to them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't like it.
No, I think that we've been desensitized. I think that they're silently trying to tell you that it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and
And
that's
you know how you know that? Because you can go and watch videos, right? And they have no black people in the videos, just a bunch of white people, and they're all saying the N-word. And I
Mhm.
bugs me out to be like, yo, why are they saying all the N-word all the time? Nobody
Mhm.
says anything, right? Nobody says nothing. Go on X. You could type N-word all you want to. Type another slur, and you getting banned. They don't care. They
Hmm.
don't care.
That's
It,
interesting.
it's this like we're the bottom of the podium. You know what I mean? Black people are the
Yeah.
bottom of the podium.
Mhm.
It's simple and plain. It's like, yeah. And then when we do complain, we're complaining about things because I just watched a video where some guy was like, oh, he had Tourette's, and I get that 100%. But first off, you had the opportunity to bleep it out. You didn't. You bleeped out the
2
free
hours.
Palestine. You bleeped out the free Palestine stuff, but the
Exactly.
N word stayed in there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Come on now.
The N word was too tall an order to just get rid of.
Dude,
Mhm.
it's free publicity. It's just
Mhm.
what it is. Free
Yeah.
And
publicity.
then
You talk about anything, any type of publicity is good publicity. Bad, no matter what, is
yeah,
good publicity because you're talking about it.
Matter of fact, guys,
100%.
keep talking. I'll be right back. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. And I don't want to, because it's Tourette syndrome, right?
Mhm.
We understand how that disease is. I get it 100%. So I don't want to technically blame him for that, but at the same time, that seems like that word might be in his vocabulary, right?
That's not
If it's
necessarily how Tourette's works necessarily,
no,
but
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I feel like I don't even want to talk about because I thought his apology was shit. It's terrible.
I didn't even hear his apology.
It was terrible. It was a terrible apology, and I just thought that was in itself was horrible. But I don't even want to talk about him necessarily. I want to talk about what everyone else is doing. What what BBC did, what Bafta did, what we're seeing from all these articles. When you look at Vanity Fair, or you're looking at CNN or CBS. I'm sorry, CBS, The Guardian. What they're saying about it. That's the issue because they're trying to frame it in a certain way.
Like what? What are they saying?
Little things like Bafta apologize. I have to guess what Teresa said or uses unfortunate word. Unfortunate word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry
Not
about that,
racist.
guys.
Not oppressive. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Or they try to explain away, oh, it doesn't seem like Delroy was having a hard time because he was with his co-star Wamsu, and they're joking around a little bit, they were okay. So it really didn't bother him that much. Trying to explain it away.
And
That's what
didn't
they
they
say.
ask them? And didn't they ask them to bleep it out? And they didn't do that either.
100%
Yeah.
did.
100%.
That's what we got. And that's what we have for these people. So
To be honest with you, this is nothing new. If you live in our skin, you know this. You know what I mean? Anytime something like this happens, they're gonna. This is why, and I'm gonna say it. This is why I don't cry about the race bending, because they're gonna hate on us anyways, regardless of what they do. They're gonna hate on us. We put new characters in there, they're gonna hate on us, right? You have something like this because if this was a slur towards the LGB community, the narrative would be 100% different.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have even played it on TV,
Mhm.
right? It took them, and you can look it up, but they got rights quicker than it took black people to get rights in America. That is absolutely crazy.
Mhm.
that's a lot. That's a big thing, and I could talk about that really because there's interesting reasons why that is true or why it's not true. But let me get to these comments, and then I'm going to talk about that because that's interesting what you just said.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to say this. All right. And he couldn't say that he wasn't thinking about any other kind of word too, because he could have shouted out a cool ass black dudes. That's not how threats works either, though.
No, I get it, right? But does it? Okay, I know how.
So there is a couple of studies. I told you, I tell you, everyone. My dad's a psychologist, so I had talked to him specifically about this and asked him. Most words that they split out are the worst of the worst. Is always framed towards the most negative thing they can do. They can say. That's what they do, and that's what comes out a lot. And it's not something that they necessarily think about. It's just something that happens. So I definitely want to explain that, and that's why I'm less about talking about him and more talking about what everyone else did around it, because I know that wasn't his intention, or if it was his intention, I don't want to give him the time of day, because the idea that you promote your own movie and then that the host promote his movie instead of talking about what the hell just happened and how offensive it could be to me, you, and what, especially the Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan standing right there and having to take it.
Yeah, the fact that they were expected to take it, and like I said, it happens over and over and over again. We've seen and heard of it and heard about that, for years on end. But the fact that it happened on such a big scope, as the Bafta Awards, hundreds of attendees.
Yep.
Broadcast.
Was it broadcast too, right? It was broadcast too.
It was broadcast.
Yeah.
It was broadcast, and it's still.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anto. I'm sorry, man.
No, go ahead.
No. The fact that by not cutting it, that's them basically saying, "Oh, it's not that big a deal. You should get over it."
100%. And that's what they always tell us. And listen, I'm not blaming him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming him. It's just a coincidence that it comes out when two black people are up on stage.
Well, no, it's not just the two black people. It's the two black people that started in the movie centers, that talked about the Jim Crow South and talked about all the racism that America has been about and had to deal with, and it's really the original sin of America in itself. So it's too coincidental that happened.
That's what I'm saying, right? No, I get it. I'm not blaming him at all. I know Tourette's. Like, you could see, like, sometimes you watch these TikTok videos and there's some people with Tourette's and you hear them cursing. They saying all kinds of outlandish crap and all of that. I'm just like, man, that's a real coincidence that it just happened to come out, because I'm sure there were other black presentations.
He had other things he said. And
no, I know.
Yeah.
No, I know. I 100%, because I heard he blurted out throughout the whole thing. So I get that 100%. But did he blurt out the N-word until they came up? You know what I mean?
He said other things to other people, and that was announced. True too.
But
he also should have,
though, right?
He should have walked away. He should have left. I think.
Yeah,
that's what should have been thing.
Because that's what I'm saying. So we talk about, and I heard people say that he said other stuff, but I don't hear any of it on on the broadcast.
Right.
You don't hear it anywhere else. The only yell you hear from him is that one. So so if that's the case, then it seems like they cut out everything else he's been yelling out throughout the whole show and just said, you know what? We'll leave the black people stuff in there.
Yep.
But that's more about, once again, it's more about BAFTA.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Than it is about, this man. And that's why I don't even want to talk about specifically, because I don't want to promote the movie. I don't want to promote any stuff. I want to talk about the situation and what they did not do. And that's the thing. They did not do these things. All right, let's run through these real quick.
Thank you.
Travis says, but real world events are now tainted sublimely, influencing everyday joys, including award ceremonies. When people think of them, they think of the slap and now this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Orgy says, it's why skin whitening projects are such a big deal all around the world. It's sad to see. Those are things. Yeah, that's definitely a lot. They used to draw us us racist, now cool. Yeah, no, and the way they do, I understand exactly what you're saying, Lawrence. What up, Tony?
What's going on, Tony?
Ace says, I was born in Germany. I've traveled the world as well. Places are different.
Yeah, but racism is the same anywhere you go.
No, he said different in a different way.
I got you.
I just wants to burn. He just wants the world just wants it to burn. It seems like people are okay. Let me finish this and then I'll say what I want to say about this. He should have had to donate to a black non-for-profit, or he could have done it himself. He could have said something out loud. He should have said it in front of his team. His team should have made sure that he said that. That's something that probably could have happened.
You know what? I don't even think he should have done all of that. A simple and a good apology would have made the whole difference. Listen, I can't control it. I didn't mean it. It was an accident, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Okay, we get it. But that doesn't seem to be what his apology even was.
But Bafta could have done that too. Once again, my whole thing is that Bafta should have came out and said, hey,
Agreed.
The words that you heard do not represent what we accept here at Bafta. We think that is a terrible word. This is not just any word, and it hurt people. And we apologize for the people this did hurt. Not if it hurt you, but that it did hurt. And I really want to apologize to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan for being up there and having to deal with this. We recognize this is a problem, and we apologize to you. And then later, you can make a statement, all the statements to tell all the context and any way you want to put it, but you didn't do it.
But even Bafta apologizing would have been like, and I'm going to say this, bullshit, because you let it in, right? You let it in.
Would I be as upset if they would have, if they had it had happened, right? And they talked about, they wanted to say, we do not represent this. So we want to make sure that we tell you that this is not okay.
Yeah, at the absolute least, Brian, I feel like that would have signified at least some semblance of accountability on their end.
But don't you think? Well, I guess it wasn't Bafta.
No. But, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was gonna say I guess it wasn't Bafta that kept it in. It was probably the BBC. But Bafta should have been messaging BBC and like, hey, we need you to take this off. If this was a 2-hour delay, we need you to take this off. If they didn't do that, then any apology you make is just fodder. Yeah. It's just to please people.
And again, I know I've said this throughout the night, but the fact that we had a 2-hour delay is what really bothers me.
Yeah, 100%.
It goes without saying that was more than enough time. That was ample enough time to get rid of that. No one would have been the wiser except the attendees who were sitting there.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't want to. There's no excuses. Especially considering the fact that they got rid of the Palestine remark later. So you show capability of being able to do it, and it's like, so why didn't you?
I think you know why.
Yeah.
I was watching one of those late night C-SPAN CNN streams last night, and randomly someone just text single letter throughout the stream, like, what the F? Yeah.
Really?
So not the gay community, it's the Jewish community too. Is let someone say a Jewish slur, everything would have been canceled. I mean, they said the whole Palestine. I think some things lean certain ways. You know, he yelled "fuck you" to the children's filmmaker, and to a children's filmmaker. He probably should have walked away. He probably should have. And that's something that I will say about the actual person himself, like that. You could have, when it's getting bad, and sometimes you want to kind of walk away. So you don't want, when John Davidson saw how bad it was, maybe he walks away, and say, hey, I could come back and reset a little bit. But Tourette's, the more you try to hold it in, because that's also something he could have done. And once again, I know I'm giving him excuses. I totally know that I'm giving him excuses. But when you try to hold in Tourette's, it only gets worse.
Yeah.
It only gets worse. I promise you. But you can't control what you do. You
Yeah.
can control being there, knowing that okay, I'm gonna come back. Maybe no, this is not the right time. Maybe I can see how it's going, and but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah, if he can't control what comes out of his mouth, but he could control his legs.
Absolutely. And here's another thing too, right?
And
That goes
his team could have helped him too.
Oh yeah. And another thing that goes to it too, right? I find and I've noticed this in the past couple of weeks, there's a lot of these, oh, this person said the N-word by accident videos type of thing. You know what I mean? And it's getting to the point where is it really an accident now? You know what I mean? I'm not talking about him in general, but it just seems like it's just so, since we got Orange Man in power, it's not taboo anymore. It's yeah, we could just trash black people. Doesn't matter.
It's not taboo anywhere in the world, and I think that's also an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Ace says, I was going to bring that up earlier. They didn't remove Will Smith after he bitch slapped someone on live TV, so I wouldn't see them removing the guy either, and that's sad. Also, they hate on us because we go to that light.
Yeah, they definitely hate on us.
He says, thank you. I'm glad you understood what I was trying to say there. Yeah, I got you. Oh, sounds good, man. Good night, Collector.
Good night, Collector. And here's one thing I want to say to what Tony was talking about, because it's they hate on us. They take everything that we do. They copy everything that they do, right? And especially American, pop culture and stuff. Black people in America are the leaders for everything. You know what I mean? Fashion, all kinds of stuff like that, and they take it from us. But you hate us. It drives me up a wall sometimes.
This is interesting. So Sponge Cake says he shouldn't have to apologize for exhibiting a symptom of his disease. That's like telling a person with Down syndrome to apologize for the way that they look. And it's not. Because we're not talking about you having Tourette's being the problem. It's direct. You had Tourette's and you said a word that hurt other people. So it's not just the individual that matters. And I think you need to understand this, Sponge Cake. It's not the individual that matters. When a group also, it hurts them. In the group aspect too. They also matter. So when did the individual outweigh the rest of the public? So when you're doing something that's seen, what's up, Tank?
Hey.
When you're doing something that hurts a group,
What up, Tank?
You don't have to apologize for what you did because you're a disease. That's nothing. The Tourette's is real, and there's no question that that is. You apologize for it hurting someone else, and not if it hurt someone. It's that it did, because we know the history of the word. That's what I'm. What up, man?
Yeah. No, I was sitting in the background waiting for a good time to come in, and I saw this, and I think that's one of the things, because he when his statement, apology, whatever he wants to call it, was very much of it sounded like, I'm sorry, I have Tourette's. You need to understand. That's like Brian said, that's not the problem. The problem is it's like if you are at a party, you accidentally nudge somebody in the back and you drop their drink. You didn't mean to do it, but do you just be like, oh, it's good, don't worry, I didn't see you there, it's like, no, you're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, let me help you out,
Exactly,
because that's what you do. It's not the action, because he can't control the action, but you can control how you handle the action.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's big. And one thing is calling the filmmaker for, I think, Paddington, I think he screamed, he called him he said shut the F up, and he called him a pedophile too. He's like, yeah, he goes pedophile, to a child film movie. That's nowhere as bad as the N-word, and that's just, it's a whole nother level, and it's stuff like that. So does he need to apologize every single time? No, but there are certain times when there's a line cross where you just right. I'm sorry, because you can say I didn't mean for it to happen, and I'm sorry, I think at that point you kind of need to work with, I'm sorry, what can we do to fix it? What can we do together to make sure you know, like your or his Tourette's syndrome, and also the super offensive word, you know, being said. Like, how can we come together and like figure this out where we can like educate and teach each other, you know, and stuff like that. You know, it's like, yeah,
because no one's saying he has to apologize for his disease. We know the
Exactly.
disease. We know
That's
what it is,
exactly.
right?
No one's-
But the inconvenience of it and what happened and hurting people and on national TV, at least be a human being about it and be like, listen, I didn't really mean to. You guys knows my disease, whatever. It's an inconvenient thought. But
I'm sorry that it hurt you. I'm sorry because I know it
I'm
did.
sorry I
I'm
ruined
sorry
your
what
moment.
I
This
did.
is your
create
moment.
More problem. Exactly.
This was your moment, and my condition ruined it. You know, and I apologize for ruining your moment. That's all
he
he had
has
to
a
say.
team around him that could have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, today Variety came out with an article talking about it.
Oh,
you know, like a whole thing.
It. He did it personally when talked to them.
Yeah.
But I think that doesn't help because a word like that offends everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of need to do it publicly and then also try to reach out and you know, talk to them, you know, kind of thing, you know.
Exactly.
That's, you know, because you could do it publicly without their consent. You know what I mean? You can apologize to somebody, you know, and whether they forgive you or not, that's up to them, but you could do it publicly. If you want to reach out and kind of go a little deeper and be like, man, you know, I'm sorry, blah, 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 whatever you want to say, you know, then you can go that extra level. But you need to do that first step first, you know, to be out there. You know, you know,
because
then
like, again, you said a word that would hurt, that could hurt any black person dealing with it, listening, watching anywhere. So all the millions of people that are there, they all could be hurt by this. So it's not just Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan who are on stage who are embarrassed and having to deal with that. It's also every black person that has to deal with this going forward and how it affects the culture. It affects all this, guys. So like, I don't think I can say it enough how important it is to apologize and to make it important enough to say that we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do this. I should, you know, this shouldn't be something that's acceptable. And I apologize for this happening.
Because like I said earlier, if it was to the LGBT community, this would be a different narrative. You know what I mean? 100% it would be a different narrative. They probably wouldn't even have played it on TV. If they could cut out the Palestine stuff, they would have definitely cut that out, right? Yeah. So it all goes back to a lot of the, you know, suck it up, guys. It's a mistake. You know what I mean? Yep. Be a man about it. Let it go. It's okay. It's nothing. It's just a word type of thing. And if you know the history of the word, it's not just a word.
Especially the way you said it. And doing to the people who just did a movie about how this word was being used in America, and also how the racism, and we saw someone get lynched. You know, talked about that on being lynched, and that scene, and those are the people that are in that scene, and that's why this is such a so problematic in itself.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and then also it sorry, I don't mean to mess up, but like he said it other times. You know, like he said it to, I forgot her name. I can't remember her name, but she also worked on Sinners, in like
the one who did the costume,
like set design or costume something. Yeah. But she was a background behind the scenes kind of person, and she won an award, I believe. And they were at the after party dinner thing, and he said it there. You know, so obviously that wasn't televised or anything. You know, and she came out with a statement, and she was like, kind of like, what the hell, you know? So it was like, so, you know, I see Relic, like they were told about it. No, they weren't. No one knew about it. Even, you know, Delroy Lindo came out and said, he's like, it would have been nice if, you know, somebody came up to us after the fact and told us what was going on or anything.
Said something.
Like, no one said anything, you know, and that goes back to what Brian was saying. It's the BAFTA, like some producer, assistant of the producer, somebody were like, hey, that's blah blah blah, you know, he's you know, the person this movie's about, he has Tourette's, you know, I apologize for him, I apologize for what was said, you know, like, you know, you want to, you know, meet him or like what, you know, like you try to do something as soon as it's done, and you know, but you know, he came out and said it. I mean, he put him on blast. He's like, hey, no one told us anything, you know. So
So
And then you
hear
don't
him
really
make-
give a good apology at
Oh,
the end and all kinds
no-
of stuff
no
like
the
one.
that.
apology was awful, and then
You know
even
what I
what
mean?
Apology
Like,
was trash.
what the host said.
I like Alan Cummings, and then I hate that bullshit. Like, oh, I'm sorry you're offended. You know, like that's not an apology.
No,
That's not an
Yeah.
apology. You know, like, oh, I'm sorry you're angry. Like that's not how this works. That's not what no. You know,
Okay,
you
so-
can that's not.
Let's read some of these comments because
Yeah.
you can hear him make noises like words that you can't really make out. This is going to turn people against those with disabilities and speculate on how aware they are, which is awful. And I hope that is not what it is, because Tourette's, you cannot control Tourette's.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm really not trying to focus on John Davidson and more about BAFTA and the BBC and the word itself and understanding the pain it could cause. And that's the problem, that you didn't handle it the correct way.
That's my number one thing. You know, the impact of it. You know,
Mhm.
how nasty and hurtful, and again, dehumanizing that word is. I think that's what's really being overlooked here.
Like,
You know, you haven't seen anyone acknowledge that. You know,
Mhm.
the severity
because it's so
of
used to it. They're just so used to it. This is something that just happens.
which is
Yep.
just shameful, by the way.
remember, it's just a word, guys. That's all it is. Just a word. You know.
I think we all agree that the fact that they left it in, that they had the opportunity to take it out, shows everything we need to know.
Agreed.
All right. Now on the other end, we get the last relic. It said the guy did nothing wrong, and everyone there was warned about him. He doesn't know what he's going to say when he's going to say it. Getting offended is a choice, and I disagree.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one.
Yeah,
I
disagree.
honestly disagree with your last relic, and I think you once again.
Well, that second one was wrong. The first one is like, yeah, don't like. I'm not like Brian said.
No,
you're
but I
not
don't
mad
think
at
everyone
him.
knew.
You know,
but
but no, yeah. Why would Delroy Lindo come out and say like no one told us anything?
Yeah.
So like
Good.
right off the bat, they didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, once he yelled, he is a pedophile. When at the playground, I should never wish this neurological issue on anyone. He said the N word about 4 times according to people there.
Mhm.
He did eventually walk out.
Yeah.
Which he probably should have done earlier. That's all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not nearly soon enough.
Mhm.
Warren says he should apologize regardless. Pipe says, Tank, what's up?
What's going on?
That's what I said. It doesn't affect the culture. People who understand the condition are not asking for an apology. Those offended are saying he meant to hurt people by the word. It doesn't matter what you meant to do. Once again, what Tank just said.
Mhm.
He just said, once again, you knock into somebody, you spilled their drink on them. You apologize because it happened. You didn't have to mean to do anything, but it happened. And you apologize for what happened.
And to say it doesn't affect the culture, that is factually wrong. What it does is when they throw it under the rug, they make it okay for this shit to go on constantly. That's the problem. That's how it affects the culture, because we already know who America has in power and how he is like empowering racists to come out and actually be racist.
Encouraging the shit out of
Encouraging it.
Exactly. So now you
Emboldening
have
them.
this situation and you brush it under the rug and you're telling black people to suck it up.
Yep.
That does affect the culture, man. It
Mhm.
really does.
Mhm.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's very much
Totally.
like Brian always says, where Brian always says, like, black people are not a monolith. They're all individuals and stuff like that. But by using that word and what that word means by dehumanizing, black people, you're making them that monolith, and then it becomes that problem of what oh, well, white guy does something bad, it's that white guy's fault. Well, black guy does something bad, it's the entire race. It's every black guy. You know what I mean?
100.
So it's like by using words like that, you're grouping all of them together, and you're just like, oh, see, and then I guarantee if Michael B. Jordan or Delroy would have said something back that was maybe too much, guess who would be the bad guy?
They would have been the
Oh,
demon.
100%.
They would have been
nice.
demonized.
You know, if they were warned about it, maybe they could have said something jokingly and maybe played it off, and it would have not been as bad. But still, you got to address it. You got to address it.
It's not just them; it's everyone else because they played it. Everyone at home hearing it too.
Yeah.
Sponge Cake says there's a difference between an incident and involuntary action, not trying to invalidate the effect it has on the communities, but the focus a lot of times has been on placing culpability on him. And if you listen to me in this entire show with this last hour, I've always told you, I don't even want to talk about, I don't want to even focus on John Davis, that it happened, but it's what the BAFTA and what BBC did. That's really the real issue. And it explains the issue in the world. And that's the issue.
I'll put it a little bit on him. I don't want to focus on the incident itself. I don't want to focus on what happened. At that moment, him saying the N-word because he has Tourette's. I still kind of put a little bit on him because, like, okay, you had time to come out and apologize. You know what I mean? And or say something. And it didn't come. The things he did say didn't come off good. Or like empathetic. It didn't come off empathetic. I think,
or genuine, or anything like that. Like you care.
But then that it's really like seeing all the comments about him. Where people are like, "Oh, he knew what he was saying," or like so many people were like, "On site." I was like, damn. It was like he has Tourette's. And there's videos of people that are like, "Oh, he wouldn't say that unless it was in his heart." It's not in his heart, it's in his head. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem. It's not that, and it's like it's like, is he the bad guy for what happened? No. Could he have handled it?
He should have handled it better
after the fact. Yes. Did he do a horrible job with handling it? No. Like he could have did way worse. He could
have said, "F it, I don't care about. I'm not gonna."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I got Tourette's, deal with it." I mean, he kind of said that, but in a more professional way. But he said it in a more professional way. But he could have done things way worse. But seeing like just all the hate, especially like Jamie Foxx was like, "Oh, he knew what he was doing." I was like, that's not how Tourette's works, man. That's not how Tourette's works.
You also have to understand why they. So if I'm
going
to
give,
100%. If I'm going to give John Davis an excuse, I'm going to give everyone else
100%.
When you're tired of the world that we live in, being this way all the time, telling you have to just accept it. It's just what it is. You should just be able to whatever. You shouldn't take offense to it. Well, in my eyes, I say fuck you.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like anytime that word is said and people get mad and upset, it's 100% justified. 100%. There's no way of like the whole we'll get over it. Like that's not how you handle it. Like it 100%. Even though he has Tourette's, it was said, and whether people on TV, and now it's being clipped, where people are like, "Oh, I just saw him say that," and calling him racist. And he could be racist, but that action doesn't necessarily make him racist. You know what I mean? And that's the thing.
And I think me and you talked about this yesterday. I don't want to accuse him, but I don't want to excuse him.
Yeah.
That's how
exactly.
I'm going to accuse you, or I'm not excusing you, but I am accusing BBC. I am accusing BAFTA. I am saying that they should have done a better job. I am accusing everyone. The way the world is just taking this word and made it into something that it doesn't matter. You should get over it. Honestly, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Horror Geek says, agree that he needs to apologize for not for his disability, but as a common courtesy to people he unintentionally hurt. I know that 100. He did eventually privately apologize to Delroy and Michael B. Jordan. Maybe, but I think that's not all you hurt with your words. And that's why you should have a public apology and say, all I want to say is I am sorry because I know this hurts people. And
if it was not my
intention. It's not my intention. And I am sorry because I know it hurt you. This was terrible timing and it was a terrible job that happened. And that's all I'm saying. And that's all it is.
And if it was done publicly, you apologize publicly. If it was done privately, you apologize privately. Simple as that,
Yeah.
But you could make it individual because it's them that are up there that had to deal with it immediately and had to swallow their pride and not, go off on anyone. Because so that's why you privately say, I apologize. I'm sorry that I made you have to deal with it. But you publicly you say because there's Black people everywhere. There's millions of us that are watching it that also take offense to it.
And if they didn't know,
okay to say.
And if they didn't know that a guy with Tourette's was in there and that happened and they held their composure like that, more power to them. Because I wouldn't have been able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do that. So, and especially not knowing. If I know, like Tank said, if you know, then it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. I know it's not, you know what I mean? But if you don't know and someone just blurts out that word, you kept your composure. Oh, yeah, you kept your composure.
Yeah. I mean, because I know, like, because whether it be televised or not, they were there, so they heard all the other times he did, shout stuff. So, I mean, at one point,
would you feel differently if the 4 times he shouted that 2 of it was to white people? That now makes it more Tourette's, right? Like if you're just saying the word, the fact that you're directing all those times to Black people.
Yeah. That's what I said. The coincidence that it just
word
happened.
Association with it.
Exactly.
It's word association with it.
Yes.
It is. But that's the trigger of Tourette's, though. You know what I mean?
That's
because like
100%.
Like, a person with Tourette's would see 2 Black people on stage, and now his anxiety is like, don't fucking say it, don't fucking say it, don't fucking say it, and it's driving his anxiety even higher. He's and like you said earlier, you bottle it up, it comes out, and then it always comes out in quiet moments because that's when like the anxiety is the highest is when there's no noise.
And even saying that, like, he associate that word with Black people, that even still is not his fault, right?
That's the world.
That goes to the world. That exactly, right? And I say this and I say it all the time because I remember at one point Oprah was trying to get that word banned, and a lot of us as Black people were like, F Oprah, we're gonna say the word, whatever, blah blah blah. And when you think about it now, Oprah was 100% correct. We had to get it out of our music, right? We have to get it out of our music. We have to get it out of society. Exactly. Because if we're saying it in our music, then that means that why can't they say it, right? We're the ones that are putting it out there. And you have white people running around rapping these songs. And when the N-word comes up, they saying it willy-nilly. You have white people that are running around saying the words to their white friends because it's been normalized. And we have done that. Rap music has normalized that word, right? I remember growing up, my dad used to tell me all the time, don't ever say that word around me. I don't care if it's in the music or whatever, don't say that word around me. Because they came from a time where that word was very hurtful and it could get you killed. And that's a big problem that I have too.
That's right. So they told people backstage before the event, so some people, that's right. And doesn't excuse you to not saying it right then and apologizing.
Yeah.
I just feel like so bad for everyone involved except for Bafta and BBC. Exactly. Exactly. Because F them. It was a books, girls, and purrs. Exactly. I agree. I said that last night. If they would have warned about it and then they could have said something like, tough crowd, because they would have been aware of what's going on. I don't know if you want to say that, though, because you don't want to make it into a joke.
Yeah. You don't want to just brush it off as like, haha, N-word. It's like, no, you never. It needs to be handled a certain way.
Exactly. Yeah. If it affects the culture, then the culture needs to progress. I'm from Brazil. I understand the American point of view, but for X in Brazil, it's offensive to call someone Black, and it's good to use that word. So I'll tell you this, because you're not from America,
the culture and the culture,
and I think you might not understand why and how hurtful it is. So
no, you don't.
And it's one of those things that when you don't know. Sometimes it's just better to just not worry about it, not say anything. That's all.
And like I said, the culture has progressed. The problem is that word has been used to bring the culture down, bro. It's constantly used to degrade us. It's constantly used to make us seem like we're second class citizens. So even though we try to progress, you have people out there who look at us like that and do whatever they can to keep black people down. It is affect the culture. It does.
Not just black culture. I think it's the American culture.
American.
Yeah,
Now it's
American.
become
Sure.
world.
Yeah,
culture.
100%.
In every culture now, you see this,
Yeah,
and it's
100%.
pushing down. To
Yeah.
be fair, Alan Cummings, imagine being him and being told to go out there and address the words of the N-word in front of all those people. He probably regretted taking that job. But all you do is empathize and say, we apologize for not just if it hurts someone, that it hurts someone, because this is a word that's triggered. Anyway, what would you use if someone said a word that's totally offensive to you? Wherever you would say or what said, that's where you say that then.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. That's how you handle it.
Yeah.
You empathize. Empathy.
Yeah.
That's well, because I agree with holding Bafta and BBC accountable 100%, as you have to.
Yeah. Also, did anybody read that Variety article?
Yeah.
Of with whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He said when he sat down, they put him not too far away from a mic, and I'm like, and he was thinking of like, I don't know if I should be sitting here. That was even before the show even started, and it's kind of like, did they put a mic there and put him there because they knew they wanted his ticks? They knew that would cause some shit. And again, it's not on him. That's on them. That's on them with it.
I totally still believe that the reason why they allowed this to go to the show, because all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
Because we're 100%. Still talking about BAFTA. You know how often we'll be talking about BAFTA?
No one talks about
3 days later? Never.
I was just going to say,
be talking about this.
So how can you hear anyone say a word about BAFTA?
Facts.
No one talks about BAFTA when it's on air normally. It's like, wait, let alone 3 days
now
later.
No one will shut up about it.
That's what it is. They better listen to the clean version.
Hey man, I was listening to Ghetto Boys this morning. There's a lot.
Oprah was wrong. You should never ban speech intentions for more important than presumption. If that's the case, Rise Relic, then you shouldn't ban Free Palestine. You shouldn't ban a lot of words, and you're
100.
really going to go down a real slippery slope until a point where every culture gets hurt, and they won't allow that. And
100%.
as much as I do not like putting other cultures against each other, I don't like that idea. But it wouldn't be allowed against certain cultures. There's other groups that they wouldn't allow you to do that. And unfortunately here, they do.
Yeah. And you're saying, okay, yeah, don't ban the word, right? But and I keep bringing up their community, the Jewish community, the LGB, they have words that are banned. You can't say those words. Why can't you say those words? But when it comes to the N word, it's no problem. Nah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? We got to get the same kind of respect that other people get as well. And if I can't say the F word concerning to other, like the LGB or something like that, then nobody should be able to say the N word. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I mean it's hate speech, because like it's not just banning speech. It's like this certain speech is hateful in its rhetoric 100%. There's no like, oh well, it could mean this. No, that's why hate speech is banned. And I could be wrong, but I've been seeing clips from this movie, the I Swear movie, that's about his life, like for a little while now, and that was one of the things. I believe is in the movie was this dude in like the 80s or 90s was going on trial for hate speech, and like, that was one of the things is like, no, he's not meant to say hateful things, it's just, it's involuntary, so that's why it's kind of big,
But it almost seems like you're publicizing or make publicity of for the movie. To go check this out, and you're talking about specifically what's going on in that movie by doing that.
Yeah,
and that looks
I mean it looks like it, but I mean the dude's had multiple documentaries about him. It's not him. It's BBC. the BBC.
That's them doing it.
Because it's a British movie, because he's British, so BAFTA and BBC is gonna want to push it because it's gonna release in America soon. I don't know when, but I know soon.
Yeah, I bet you there's a lot of people who don't mind using that word or will see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna be not happy with how the movie is. I think then, but.
Yeah, I think it's shitty situation all around, but it's one of those type of situations where if we don't address it right then, and then we leave it, the awkward moments, what do we do? What do we do? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So love you guys. Thanks from Stacy. Appreciate your acres.
Thank you.
Stacy.
Thank you.
It's exactly like what I said earlier. British people don't understand why it's such a bad word to us. Because once again, that's because you don't understand.
I think
You
now.
You
I
should.
think now in 2026, now for sure.
What about
You
this?
should,
What if
yeah.
I tell you that? What if I tell you now? In 20 years, the kids are not even going to know because they refuse to teach us about.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Schools are refusing to teach what
Black
happened
history.
because because this is the original sin. It's the blackest mark on all of American history. So but they're stopping teaching these things. It's already not being taught in Florida, and other states are following right behind this. Oklahoma does not teach this stuff. So this is not something. I'm telling you what happens. History is written by the winners and the people of power, and people of power do not want to be looked at negatively, so they're not going to talk about this. So we need to say these words need to be banned now before people forget why.
And they're taking down our murals. They're taking down our history. They're not teaching it. And this is why I say digital media, physical media is so important, because once they stop getting rid of physical media, you don't own anything. They can alter stuff. That AI is getting better. So sooner or later, you're going to think slavery was beneficial to Black people because that's the history they're going to show.
That's what they're telling you.
Yeah, I mean, you see what happened with those plaques. I forgot what state that was in, but those plaques, they just removed them. Oh, it was like what, and a really perfect example was how many people learned about the Tulsa massacres after watching The Watchmen.
The Watchmen,
you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Like
exactly.
people like, oh, that's not that didn't really happen. Like, no, like that happened. The specific with the the little superhero boy. That's added in for the story, but that happened. And then on top of that, then you start telling them like, well, that's not even the only time.
Exactly.
Chicago, Springfield, New York City, like hundreds of times, and then talking about Acres or not Acres, Relic was saying like, oh, then the Black culture needs to progress more. It's hard to progress when every time you take a step forward,
something happens to
make sure they yank you back 10 more steps, and then call you the problem. It's like, oh,
your issue. You shouldn't react to that way. You should do better.
Yeah, and it's always the same thing happened in Minnesota. It's like, oh, the Somalis are stealing it. Who's the one that got convicted for stealing money? It was a fucking white woman. The welfare queen was, started in Chicago. Who was the welfare queen? It wasn't a Black woman. It was a rich white woman.
The Haitians eating the cats and dogs. All of that narrative, right? And you had people believing all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and I had arguments with people.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about this? The kids that were terrorizing this Black kid, and these white kids that were terrorizing this Black kid, and they peed in his lemonade, and they made him drink in his apple juice, whatever, and made him drink it. And then his mother, and they called him racist, and then they sued him for the Black person calling them racist.
Wow. Yeah, no, I didn't
for
hear
real.
that. That's crazy.
They won.
Wow.
Yeah,
Not surprising.
All right, well, I understand. I grew up here in Brazil, and it's an immature thing to use the word as slang. I also don't agree with saying if you're Black, you can say either the words offends or it don't. I agree. Okay, there.
That we agree with. 100%. The word offends. Black people are the ones that made it popularized, right? Because it's all in our music. And again, that goes to because Ice Cube has a video where he talks about those are the songs that the industry was pushing. right? Those were the negative vibes that they're pushing because they wanted that narrative out there. And sure enough, it worked. Now you have everybody running around saying the word like it's nothing.
If it's okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh no, everyone, let's not get this mistaken. You're allowed to say whatever you want, but you must be prepared to deal with the consequences.
That's correct.
Honestly, if you want to deal with me, you want to deal with the consequences. You would literally have to deal with it. Is what it is. I'm not going to stop you from saying anything, but I will stop you from being able to talk.
100%.
Hate speech is intentional. I believe no word of speech should be banned, but if you hate something hatefully, then you should be meant to with the proper consequences, whether legally or socially. And you're going with these hands. I want to be 100% right. You're going to be these hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when the orange bastard likes to take down things that about slavery, he's trying to rewrite history. That's what we're making too big of a deal. We need to move past it, which is bullshit. Because if you forget, if you don't teach it, you're doomed to repeat it.
Repeat it 100%. But we ain't going back there. I'm just letting y'all know. So if you're gonna try and repeat that, you guys are gonna have a rude awakening.
It's gonna be different.
You know,
it's just gonna be different. So Akers says Alan Cummings deserves our support. He himself has been attacked for being LGBTQ with words and actual physical attacks, and he has a lot of experience with hecklers. And it was he was doing his best. He should have left. And that's why I can't say I don't want to just support him. Because once again, I'm not going to excuse. I'm not accused, but I'm not going to excuse. That's my thing. You still did it, and just because something happened doesn't mean you're above apologizing.
Yep.
That's just never what it is. So I'm in Florida, and it's heavily taught here. Actually, they don't teach it in February. They teach it throughout the year. There are many counties in that's actually a state law.
Stop Woke Act in 2023. It's not. I'll take this back. It's not that they don't teach it. They sanitize what they teach about it. You know what I mean? What's that the shitty fucking group that does the new history and it's all like cartoons?
I forgot.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think about it. But like one of the things they taught was like, this is fucking wild that slaves came over here and they learned skills.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. It's like they learn skills, they learn how to be farmers, and they learn how to take care. And we gave them, like religion, and it was like we taught them how to be civilized. I was like, the fuck you talking about? But the Stop Woke Act is how you teach about slavery. A lot of places aren't getting rid of that because it's gonna be so hard to, but they start by sanitizing it. By like and I can't think, it's not the Heritage Foundation. That's a whole nother shitty thing. Man, I can't think of the school of it. But that's like so super fucking white supremacist. Like,
and let me just read you this law. Okay, 2023. Florida revised African American history standards in middle school, requiring teaching that slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Approved by the Florida State Board of Education, this curriculum argues that enslaved people use their forced labor to gain skills like blacksmithing and tailoring. The personal benefit clause, the curriculum specifically instructs that that some enslaved people benefit from theirs and their ancestors' forced labor by acquiring those skills. Context and standards. The guidelines were developed by the Governor Ron DeSantis' Stop Woke Act, aiming to focus on how individuals prospered even in the most difficult circumstances. The curriculum received widespread condemnation from historians, teachers, unions, politicians who urged whitewashing the brutality of slavery. Who argued it's whitewashing. It's whitewashing the brutality of slavery. So that's just telling you, this is not something we just made up, bro.
Yeah, that Stop Woke Act thing, when I read about it, was like wild, man. And then also, my wife is a librarian, so she hears about all these like things, especially like Florida, Oklahoma, where there's like going in and like ripping out all these books. It's like, and then some of the books are like crazy, where it's like that's offensive. How and it's just like the littlest thing. It's like it could be anything.
Scarlet letter. This happens to in Black History Month, while our history is being erased as we speak. So you're gonna have to learn at home. You're right.
Yeah.
It's why when you see pictures of dogs attacking black people during the whole Jim Crow, yeah, this is real. So did y'all see the Google AI? Have y'all?
I haven't.
Of what? I mean,
No.
I'm sure it's crazy shit, but
Yeah. So another people didn't know about the Tulsa massacre. Not to mention the others list of others is sad. Yeah. Or what about Black Wall Street? Does anyone know about Black Wall Street? Or do you know how profitable black people were after the Emancipation Proclamation? They had to stop it because they were bringing all the money all to their communities and they were thriving. That's real. This is not something to make it up. You know, it's why you see the pictures of Jim Crow and the Civil Rights era and the black and white. They want you to believe it was a very long time ago when it wasn't. How about this? My father was born in 1961, right? We didn't have voting rights until 1968. Well, 65 really, but 68 was the real election. Yeah, but so it's within one generation, guys. It's not a long time ago.
100%.
Like the Watchmen,
the women are.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the women are still alive that had to be escorted by CIA for going to white schools. They're still alive. You know what I mean? That wasn't like ancient history, like you could go and talk to some of them still, like come on.
Lauren says, Watchmen, Lovecraft, and the Welcome to Dairy, low key, use those elements. Yeah. So another people didn't know about the Tulsa massacre. Say that. I'm sorry. Highly recommend the LA Law episode about Tourette's. It's a very important moment in TV history. No, but that's still Tourette's is real, and that's why I want to talk about that first and understand you don't control this stuff, but what you can control is what you do because of something. You can control yourself and what your reactions are.
Yeah, like I get why he wants to be there, you know what I mean, and I get why he kind of stayed there after the first few ones, because like you're like oh, I have a disability or a condition, whatever they want to, I think say it, but it's like, so I have every right to be here, but at some point it's like you don't want to be like ableist and like oh, you need to leave, but at some point it's like it's starting to also like affect other people, but also it's starting to affect you like now, because like there's a lot of rhetoric on social media that like want you dead, bro, so it's like shit like that too, but then also there's a bunch of other people that I didn't know have Tourette's that come out, especially like black creators. So there's one dude in New York, I think, who was the first guy with Tourette's to be elected, and he was a black man, and he was talking about it. There's I can't remember his name, but he's one of the guys on TikTok where he always kind of looks and talks about like reacts to like some fucked up shit, and he always ends it. Yeah, he has like that super like deep voice. He goes, "Oh, respectfully though," like I don't know if you guys ever seen him. He came out and said like he had Tourette's, and then he did a lot of like crazy shit, So I was like, oh, I didn't know he had Tourette's, so. But also just saying like
puts that BAFTA again. It must put once again puts it the BBC and BAFTA are the real villains here.
Yeah, because they're making it like bad for him, and just the Tourette's community in general. Because now you have so many people like, oh, it's fake, it's not real. Like, oh, he had to have that hate in his heart to say it like that. Like that's not how that works, But it's also like oh, I watched an interview with him from like early 2000s or from the 90s, and he didn't blur the N-word.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. And that's also it's edited, you know what I mean? Like it's edited.
Oh, so you can kick things out. You can decide to not, if you have a 2-hour delay, to not show it to everybody.
Yeah, which is I see Bobby Coltrane. Yeah, I found that out today. I saw his video. So and he's a cool guy. I like him.
He says you're spot on. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but as long as I can slap the shit out of you. Oh, Books Gers and Purr says that's like I was sued for hitting a car hitting me. That's exact, and literally it's $3.25 million, and they were awarded. Yeah, I live in Missouri. Anyone that knows me knows how much I love the Second Amendment. I love everyone, but freedom of speech is dangerous to those with an agenda to betray and divide. Some people know what they are doing with words and must be discouraged before they reach the critical mass. Dividers and the ones that betray the racial separate, etc. They want to let their ideas out and their out of there, and they want to let the insidiously spread. And they want say that it's freedom of speech to destroy race relations. Thanks for the slave benefits. Really helped my family a lot. Thanks you so much for having great gifts of my ancestry. It's crazy, Florida. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen that Stop Woke Act affecting the Tampa Bay schools, but I get that that's freaking wild. It is.
There's other places. There's a lot of blue spaces. I'm not sure if Tampa is blue or not, but like Orlando is fighting back.
Bluish.
Orlando's pretty blue. You know, I know they're fighting a lot against it. I'm not sure if Tampa. I really don't follow anybody in Tampa, but usually if it's a big city, there's a 9 out of 10% chance it's blue. Yeah.
I haven't seen that stuff yet, but I give my bloodlines 500 years of dominance, and they will have ways to take away our culture.
It is
facts,
you know.
Yeah, and I just looked up. Tampa is considered a blue city.
That's sad. Is every time we succeed or progress, there's a group of people that feels like it's being taken away from white people. That's not good for them. I will say that as a group, there's people that are afraid. There's been a lot of power that's been kind of taken away from the people that have had power, and that scares people. And this is why we get the Trumps. This is why we get these people that are doing all this stuff. We're getting because there are people that are afraid of DeSantis. There are these type of people because they're afraid to lose a lot of power. So I think that's an issue.
It's also there's that idea of if we lose power and the minority or any minority group gains the power, they're gonna do to us what we did to them. And it was like. like what, like, are you not listening to that? Like, so you understand
that you've been doing the wrong thing.
You've been doing fucked up shit. It's like, so and then from mostly what I hear is like people are like, no, I just want to be fucking left alone. Just leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Let our community do our thing and let's and go on. But it's never like that. It's always like we need to keep them down. Because if they get power, we're fucked, and that's
I think oppression is also
the only issue.
Oppression is also like it's like a drug, and you like to have the benefits from it. And I don't think everyone agrees with it. I think there's a lot of good people out there. I won't say most are good people out there, but the people that are oppressed that want this stuff are the loud people that
minority.
That are talking about it, and that's all you hear. But I also believe there's a group of people that don't say anything, that are more neutral, but because they don't say anything, they kind of fall in line with the loud minority. And I think that's problematic in itself too.
Yeah,
which is why we should talk about these things.
Yeah, and I'm copyrighted claiming you guys for copying the OOC, but I'm just saying.
I believe America needs to study more of the world in order to understand history in its entirety, and move on the proper way. Understanding the past, it creates a great future. But I'll tell you this, Last Relic. Do you understand that they don't allow people to pyramids anymore? Do you understand that hieroglyphics you're not allowed to take pictures of that? Do you know that there's libraries that get burnt down? Do you understand? Like what they do is they stop you from being able to go and see it with your own eyes, and then they tell you something totally different. And you know what that does?
Why
it allows you to rewrite history.
Yes,
None of the
and
sphinxes have noses.
Yeah, exactly.
facts.
Alexander the Great, what did he do? Like this is what,
Facts.
None of those have noses. Yeah.
you can do
And-
that though. If you rewrite, you can rewrite history if you get rid of all the books. And that's why we talk about physical media. This is why I talk about books. This is why I talk about libraries. This is why it's important that we have these things. Because you can't just rely on what they're going to tell you.
And you got to be careful who you listen to, bro. Really and truly, and what kind of narratives that you're agreeing with, because at the same time, you're saying America needs to study more. They know their history. The difference is American slavery is totally different than any other slavery in the world.
Yeah, chattel
It's
slavery is
just
the
a
worst.
fact.
Mhm.
It's just a fact. The things that they did to black people in America during slavery is unbelievably, and you don't even know the history. They used to put these dudes on the, you know, what those roasts where they put the pigs on and
Mhm.
cook them over open flame.
Well,
Right?
you can
You
think
got to
about it.
understand. Yeah, go ahead.
You talk about cutting off castrating men.
Yes.
They literally, the idea of separating the men from the women and the
Mhm.
kids.
Mhm.
That was a
Feeding the-
slavery thing.
Feeding the babies to alligators. Right?
This-
This is a real thing. It's totally different. It's totally different. You can't compare slavery
It-
from other worlds than what happened to black people in America. It's just different.
It was so aggressive that when the Nazi Party started to get in power, they used the shit America was doing with their minorities as a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
100%.
very like then that's not like, oh, that's like, no, like they talked about it like in their books, in their teachings and shit. They're like, oh, look, America with their segregation, look what they did to their slaves and stuff like that. Like they used the hatred and everything because they said America does it so great, let's just copy that.
Mhm.
I was like, so it was like, I mean, the hell, man.
If you want to know, we get talking about education, go read the Willie Lynch book, the Willie Lynch letters.
Mm-hmm.
Understand the making of slaves, and see what he said about the person, what black people, and what they did because of what Willie Lynch said, and understanding why that went to lynching. That's huge in itself too.
Mhm.
So, like I'm
100%.
telling you, be careful. It's a very slippery slope.
It's still fucking happening. The dude at the university where they're like, oh no, he did it to himself. Who the fuck does it to himself? What the fuck you talking? Like that's and it's insane how we just that just all got blown over because of other shit.
100.
I was like,
100%.
Absolutely.
a man got lynched. I believe it was in 2024.
Mhm.
2024.
Yeah.
Like less than 2 years ago.
This is
Absolutely.
still happening now.
It's still happening. It's still happening.
You could buy that book, the Willie Lynch letter. Still, and the making of a slave. It's still out there. You can put it on Amazon. Go buy it.
Mhm.
Cost you $15, and you'll see some ish.
Mhm.
Still no apology for Black Wall Street. 100% Poppy Coltrane.
Never will be.
Facts.
Yes, the first little black girl that ever went to the integrated Mississippi school is on Instagram.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that.
And here's what, so Tamika says, no, I meant Google had to apologize as well for an ad they put out in reference to Bafta N-word.
Yeah, I think
really?
I seen that. Yeah. I heard something about it. I didn't see it, but I heard something about it. Yeah.
So while he has Tourette's. It's a great movie, great story. Overshadowed now, the story will be subside, and happy he will be able to be there despite all of this. So slaves gain skill sets, but melanated people sure do know how to create, design, invent, and a lot of other things this world uses daily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a learning experience, yes.
Mhm.
Sorry. Wife's grandma raised her. She ran away from slavery, living in caves for 8 to 16 years. She was a very sweet woman. And unfortunately, there are more slaves today than ever, and people don't know about that.
Mhm.
That's
But you don't have the same long chattel slavery as what you did. But it's not just regular slavery. There's also child labor, child slavery. It's rampant in a lot of places in America still, and like slavery in itself is bad.
I mean, sex trafficking is just a form of slavery, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Was it North Korea like had a lot of slavery, something like that? Yeah, it was like I don't think it was South Korea, but I think I want to say North Korea. They had a lot, and
who knows, because you can't get in there.
Yeah, I know. But
so I literally saw Steve Bannon give a speech today that says hey, look, if we lose the midterms, I'm going to jail, which lets me know he knows he's been doing wrong. Yeah.
Like that's insane. It's like, oh, if we don't keep power, we're all going to jail. Why? Why would you go to jail?
Because it's unconstitutional. Thanks for Stacy. I've lived in various Asian countries and an Asian area in the USA as well. They do not accept our skin color as socially equal, and Asian influence rises. They want us down. Asians 100%. Literally won't allow mass migrations of Black people, and never will have never been pressured to allow us in the countries, though many of them have recommended that a global famine solution. Wow. Millions of acres of lands in the steep lands of the Asian hills and flatlands, mass exodus to prevent the largest hunger death rate of modern centuries, but no racial separation is needed. Unacceptable. Brother, I'm from Brazil. I definitely understand reciting history, and that's why it's important to learn multiple languages and study history in their language. Yeah, no, it's actually important to learn ancient words. Arabic is actually something that you gotta understand, and
that was the best thing when somebody said like, oh, now that Mamdani is mayor, like all of New York is gonna have to learn the Arabic numerals. Man, so many people got mad.
Wow.
Like,
yeah, 100%.
I'm like, this is why you need to learn world history, because you're dumb as shit, man.
That's the best shit I've ever in my life. Oh, yes, they followed the American Blueprint. It would give a Frederick Douglass biopic. You're gonna see me if I keep my hair out. We'll see. There was a series of hangings last year that were supposedly suicide at Black colleges. None of us believe that.
100%.
Yeah.
As a book, Amity is very good. A slavery and post-slavery story. Okay, Amity. Yeah, there were some truckers that saved an 8-year-old girl from being trafficked yesterday.
Yesterday.
Dude,
same.
Jesus.
I still think little girls, it's so hard for that we see people being bussed in trucks and then human trafficked right in front of your faces, and you don't know anything about it. But I do want to keep the focus on what we're talking about. I do want to say one last thing and then kind of get out of here, let you guys all say one last thing. I still totally believe that this is all about publicity. And BAFTA made a decision to keep it in their show because we're still talking about this on almost Wednesday. It's Wednesday now.
I agree.
It's still being talked about, and they did
kind of like
intentionally.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what else could it be? There's really no excuses. Like I've said multiple times, they had more than enough time to cut that if they wanted to. They didn't want to. They knew it would draw more attention to the ceremony.
Yeah, and it's so easy to cut because it happens in between them talking. Yeah. Like you didn't even have to cut it. You could have just muted it for that 1 second, 2 seconds. And no one would have been the wiser because they kept it together and they were professional. Obviously, like Michael B. Jordan wasn't happy. But if you would just muted it, you didn't even have to cut it. Just mute it. Yeah,
Agreed. You guys got anything
bare,
else?
Bare minimum.
Go around and you want to say anything they need to say?
Yeah, I'll say this because there was a time where, Black people were like, oh, we got to ban the Oscars because they weren't, representing Black people. Well, now we have to ban BAFTA and BBC for letting that slide. Keep that same energy,
Yeah. I saw today though that the Freeman Nation or Freedman Nation is banning or boycotting BAFTA next year.
As they should.
Man, we should all boycott them. But Redman, you got anything?
I'd say that's pretty much it. I think the in the aftermath was an exercise in sincerity. As far as the apologies go, I think that's what really, really sticks with me after this. Just the lack of accountability is what really got me. The just blaming it on the disability itself, and denying Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo the apologies that they so rightfully deserved is what really got me. It feels like everyone was doing everything but.
Yep.
And and that really chaps my ass, so to speak.
Tank, what you got?
I mean, like for me, it's just like being in the medical field for so long, and seeing people with Tourette's. I understand. He was put there and being inclusive. Like he deserved to be there. And stuff like that. And I just from that action, I can't say he's a racist or not. From that, and and as much as he's getting like a lot of hate online, which is crazy, but all that hate needs to go to BAFTA and the BBC. They're the ones that put him there. They put him in front of a mic. They didn't say anything to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. They didn't apologize. They just like Brandman said like used his condition as a deflection, and that's not how it should be. So granted, he whatever, I forgot his name, John Davison, I think his name, something like that. Like he should have done like an actual apology, which doesn't look good, but yeah. I mean the hatred and the anger needs to go to the right place, and a person who has an uncontrollable, neurological defect, is not the one that should be blamed.
Agreed. And I'll say this because Relic says they shouldn't have cut it. Then they shouldn't have cut the Free Palestine stuff either.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
If you're going to cut one thing, right, that is going to offend people, and I think Free Palestine is a very valid thing to say with what's going on over there, right? If you're going to cut that, then you cut that part too.
I'm going to read the last couple comments from you guys, and we're going to get out of here. But you're going to have to remind me that they're on so we can boycott them because you guys are right. The best free publicity they've had in years. That's right, because I don't think they should have cut it. BAFTA and BBC should have talked about it and making it aware that it sucks to have a disease and apologizing for the offense while highlighting the reality. I've been boycotting the BAFTA as long as I've been alive. I don't know how it exists until there's a whole fiasco. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys all coming in here and having this conversation with us. I just wanted to have it. Do a little bit off of our regular streams, because our regular streams were pretty much about movies and TV shows. But this is news in the world that I thought it was important that we need to talk about it. I want to thank Anso for jumping on once again. The OOC tomorrow. Make sure you join them, because I'm almost afraid to see what he's going to say then. Yeah, and he might have to deal with me tomorrow, so that might be a problem. But yeah, thank you guys again. You guys are amazing. Great community that we could talk to you guys about this stuff. It's a conversation that we need to have. But we will see you guys on Thursday. Once again, we'll be talking about Paradise. We'll talk about Cross. We'll talk about all. Hopefully, maybe get a Spider-Man trailer.
Anything?
Something about something.
Something.
So
Yeah.
let's hope for all that. But until
But
then,
even if
guys,
we get a Spider-Man trailer, are we gonna get the same one that's been leaked? You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like I don't care if they
I feel like
give
there's
a
going to be
Spider-Man trailer.
an official, clearer version of that one, most
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
that's probably if we
That's
get
fine.
that, that'd be great.
I'm cool with that.
I'm good with
At
that.
least then we can watch it on stream, you know?
Exactly. So it won't be coming out and demanding you get a strike on against your channel. So I don't need that either. So, well, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace.